G'day, we're doing Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by old man host himself, Algared. How you doing, mate?
Fairly well, keeping out of trouble.
Yeah, so we know that the Paladin and the Asgard are, well on their way. So we thought we'd go back and look at their original ship, the Valkyrie. And I thought we'd do a kind of like a ship scrutiny on it and go back and kind of have a look at it. And we've been refreshing ourselves on it already, and we're kind of, I was even saying to Algared, like, man, I forgot how good this ship was. It is like I probably gave it a lot of grief over the years, and it is a good ship. I think it's just a little bit pricey, and I'm wondering if that will bear fruit down the line. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
Well, they always used to say that the components in the ship influence the price, and the components are
pretty
fairly
sensible,
good, but they're not top of the line, but they're not shabby either. But that had an influence. I can remember when it first came out. The first time we really saw it flying was on Microtech, and it was the Microtech taxi to take you from the airport to the city.
That white one, I remember.
But it never eventuated. We never saw the white one.
No, I never kind of. Well, I think there's a skin similar to it. I know this is the best in show skin, but speaking of skins, Algared kind of went in and pulled it out of mothballs, almost, so to speak. We've got it in game, but he pulled out the Liberator version. Some of you may not have seen these over the years, but this is actually a kind of like a copper version of it. It is, the only real difference is the skin, but it is technically a different ship through the website. But Algared's here with me in game, and I thought we'd go around and have a talk about it.
Have a gander.
Now, it is a fairly small ship for its size, isn't it, Algared? It's put in a weird kind of perspective. I was looking at this earlier today with some other guys in an org.
Sorry, I'm being distracted.
That's right. And basically, it's the same length as the Zeus and almost the same width. It's really just the height. So it's actually kind of surprising how small this thing is. It technically falls under the a medium banner, which is kind of impressive when you consider it carries 4 Cyclones, 20 troops, and then 4 crew. It's kind of crazy if you think of it that way. Like, that's a lot to fit in one ship.
Yeah,
and so you can see why the price is so high, because it does so much in such a small package.
And you consider the armaments on the ship as well. Like it is gun to the gills is one way of putting it. So.
All right. Well, speaking of guns, what are these ones on the chin for me?
So these ones are Panther repeaters on the chin. So you get a pair of those. I believe they're pilot controlled. I'd have to go back, fly and practice and fly around.
No, they're pilot controlled. They are. I know.
So.
What about this one down here? Now, I always did have a trouble with this turret because sometimes, especially when it first came out, you'll often bottom the vehicle out and it would go through the ground. I'm sure they'll fix that given time, but it does look better than it used to. It seems to sit a bit higher these days. But what are those ones on that turret there?
On the ventral turret, they are, again, Panther repeaters.
And I think we've got the same thing up top as well, don't we?
And you've got the same on the top as well. So the ventral and dorsal turrets are Panther repeaters, and the chin mounts are Panther repeaters. So that's 6 side 3 so far.
Yeah.
And we're not done yet.
No. Far from it. Oh yeah. Well, what was on the ones on the sides, Algared? Because these are remote controlled, aren't they, by the crew?
They are remote controlled turrets, and they are size for Rhino repeaters. So so you get 2 of those on each side. So that's now 10 guns you've got on this ship.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And we've obviously got these doors on the side that you can kind of hop up into. I won't get up onto that one just yet, but you've also got back entry as well. And you can kind of already kind of see what they're going to do with the other ships, can't you? Once they come along in the Paladin and the Asgard.
I've got to admit, the little side door hop in is quite a nice little feature.
You want to pull that gun out for me, and we can you got your stuff,
Algared. I remember how to do that.
Yeah, it's pretty much look and press F from memory. There you go. So yeah, got some nice little door guns on it.
Yeah, and on the guns, on the door guns, we've got size 1 Gatling guns, so GT 210, 2010s.
Right.
Oh, sorry, 210s.
Yeah.
Is what we've got on the guns here.
Fire the gun for me. Come on, give me Breaking Bad, Algared. I want to see it. You ruined it. Come on, get back on. Fire the gun. I want to see Breaking Bad. Come on. Oh, the power's not on. Power's not on. That's why. But you can actually close this door too.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, but it does kind of show, like, a lot of people complained, and I think this would be our criticism as well. It really shows that it's an in-atmosphere ship, because once those doors open, the entire ship, besides the pilot, is open to space, so to speak. So it's really not meant to open those side doors unless it's in atmosphere. Now, before we go any further, Algared, I did want to talk about this real quick. There is no kind of component bays in this ship. It's an older design, but you can kind of see, if you look here, it looks like they're going to put some components in here, and obviously there's a couple of other spaces in here that they could add, because there are, Algared, if you want to give us some examples of, say, the power, the shield. I know there was, what, 3 size 2 shields?
4 size 2 shields.
Oh my god, 4. Right. Okay, so you can see there's quite a number of some of these components is what I'm trying to get at. These ones in here where you could obviously fit a few. And the only other spot that we were able to find, if you go through this
trip, was in the bridge section, I believe.
No. It's down here in the bottom of the turret.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So there's 2 more kind of down here, but they could also, as Algared's suggesting, put some along the neck towards the co-pilot, but there's nothing in there. But yeah, also 20 troops in total, 10 on this side and 10 on this side. They also have personal storage as well, as you can see there. It's quite a lot.
I do like the fact that these troop containers are, you almost see it as and it's what we were talking about before, modular. Like, this ship has been, I reckon, has been built as a modular ship by the devs, not for us. For the devs to be able to piece it together. Like, you've got the doors on either side of these.
Hang on. So it wasn't built as one, but I think they're turning it into one to do the Asgard and the Paladin. I think that's what they're doing. I just want to make that clear, because what you said built, that's very key, the words you use. That's all right. So I think they're rebuilding it to be,
But I like the way, like, the troop compartments are enclosed sections, so...
well, that's another thing, Algared. These will be for heavy armor as well. A lot of seats you can't have heavy armor. For example, the pilots aren't going to be able to wear heavy armor and stuff like that. But again, they won't be leaving the ship. These guys will be. And again, you can see it was perfectly designed for exactly 4 cyclones. And there's that little thing here, Algared, somewhere here. This thing, look, pops up the little door, and it's kind of hard to believe, but you can fit 4 cyclones in here, like, perfectly. It's crazy.
The other thing is that there are very few ships that have actually been built with troops wearing heavy armor. So the Spartan is the ground vehicle. That was the first ground vehicle for heavy armor. I can remember people saying, why would I want this when I can take an Ursa? The Ursa, it can take 4 people in the back, but they can't wear heavy armor. The Spartan can. This can wear heavy armor as well. I think the Retaliator with its troop pod will be the other one that can take heavy armor, and that's about it. They're about the only ones I can think of.
For now.
Drop seats for heavy armor. For now.
I'm sure there'll be more. So one of the things I am kind of speculating on, Algared, what I was saying to you earlier, like, if you eventually can put a bigger vehicle inside the Asgard, it basically, the biggest land vehicle that we have at the moment takes I think it's 6 to 8 troops, so I'm going to say 8 because that's the bigger number. But basically, you could essentially cut 3 rows of these seats out on both sides and just leave the 2 rooms either side that has 4 apiece. So you could essentially push the whole thing forward, so you could technically fit the tank in here a lot easier because you're taking stuff out. All right, this is that bottom turret that we're in before, Algared. We obviously saw that as well. And then I think we can head upstairs. I think we're going through each other there, Algared. I could see your eyebrows and your head.
That's a scary thought.
Knocked me back downstairs. It's so good. All right. So obviously this is the kind of more crew focused area. You've got your 5 bunk beds here. So there's I thought there was 4 crew. There must be 4 crew. I forgot about this bed here. You've obviously got your eatery as well. And actually a fairly sizable toilet for most ships, because it's the toilet and the sink. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to deal with the those freeloaders are sitting downstairs as well.
So this is kind of where we're talking about with the neck, where you could possibly fit some in here, but it is just got this weird angle, and step down. These are those 2 remote turrets that you saw with the big single big guns on them as well.
Yep.
And yeah, that's about it. Oh, the top turret as well. So yeah,
Yep.
it's very well packed in, and it actually feels fairly large because of the kind of double deck nature of the ship. And that is the real difference between it and, say, other medium ships. It is technically taller. So yeah. All right.
If you move to the side, I'll let you take it for a spin, I suppose.
I don't know if I can open the hangar at the moment in this current build.
No, but I can.
Yep. Well, you'll have to get into a seat to open it, though. Oh, we got the engines on.
All systems online.
Yep. You'll have to open it around good.
I've just requested, but I'll go sit down just to make sure.
Yeah, you got to be in a seat.
How annoying.
Yes, it has not had a lot of stuff updated in this for quite a while. Like, there's, for example, as far as I can tell, I can't. There we go. There it is. Close exterior. There we go. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this skin. I was saying to Algared before the show, I actually only know 2 content creators that have it. Yeah. Do you need to come sit in the pilot seat, Algared, to call for takeoff?
No, because I can't get in. I can't. It's not letting. Oh, hang on. Now I can sit down.
Okay.
I was trying to find the F, but sitting down in the turret was proving problematic.
Okay. You got it open, or?
We will have.
I don't think it's working. You might just come sit in the seat. Oh no, there we go. I heard it. Yeah. So, I think the real linchpin with this thing, Algared, is really the price. I think that is going to be the make or break point. It really hasn't changed since when the ship first kind of came out. I do think it has kind of grown on me over the years, because it's been around for quite a while now.
When it came out, there was a lot of us complained about the fact that when you open the ship, you vented it to space. But this ship was never designed as a space trip ship. It was designed as a planetary transport.
Yeah, a short and a short range transport at that. Like, it's going into combat. And I think the other 2 variants that are coming will be no different to that. In the Paladin and the Asgard. But I do like the idea, like when I talked to SA and some of the other military guys, they said it's really common with the military to basically have almost like a frame, and then that frame is repetitively used. So by them doing it at CIG, it's not really
no,
it's almost law based is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. It's just common sense to have that unity of structural design or weaponry, so that your logistics aren't being strained. You might recall early on in the conflict in Ukraine and Russia, one of the problems that was being said that Ukraine would have getting all this stuff from everyone was logistics, the support for all the different tools and weapons and stuff ahead. If you have one base, your logistics shrinks, and that makes it easier to support and maintain and keep things going. And I think that just makes sense for the UE in law to actually have a frame and then build other modules or other ships that do similar jobs or roles around that. One of the things I do like that they changed on the Valkyrie was, on the Valkyrie, was when it first came out, it didn't have cargo. Or it had the vehicle ability, just the vehicle transport.
And that's been updated twice now, hasn't it?
And that's been updated and improved. And it was one of the things.
Originally, it didn't have any at all, and then a lot of people complained, and they gave it 30. And now recently, it's been updated to like 90, I believe, off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'd have to go and have a look at that, but I know they put cargo in. And one of the arguments people said is, if I've got vehicles in here, they're on the cargo pad. Why can't I put cargo on that instead of a vehicle?
Yeah.
And I understand why CIG were reluctant initially to do that, because if it's a cargo ship as well as transport, as well as it was doing too much, but it just made logical sense to give it some cargo capacity for supplies or instead of taking the vehicles. So that was a positive change that CIG made in light of what the backers were saying. So yeah,
I am loving this skin, by the way. It's not something you get to see every day. It's a rarity these days. I do wish they had more metallic skins, to be honest with you. But
it's a very nice skin, that metallic shine.
I think it's aged fairly well, considering. I think, like, with all the things that we're kind of, sounds like we're probably a bit gushing about it. It also is a bit limited in what it can do, and I think by adding that extra cargo, I believe it's the raft has had a recent. Oh, what the hell?
Yep.
A big shot. I don't know why. What am I being shot by? Oh, there's a there's a cum right here. Lol. Uh-oh, we could be dead, Algared.
I think you are.
We are dead. Well, that's been the review of no.
I'll just point out that Execute was flying.
Yes, I was flying, but I didn't expect that we were going to run into a cum ray. Anyway, I think we can
shake my head. So, in terms of the age of this ship, like this ship was first announced in October 2018. So,
so what I was trying to get at though is essentially it was fairly niche, and it and every dropship that we've ever looked at is really good at what it does, right? So it is really good at dropping those 4 cyclones off and having that kind of ground squad gameplay feel and picking them back up. It is really good at what it does, but just having that versatility to have the extra 90 cargo is really going to put it in, like, it just gives it was too expensive for what it did. Right. And now it does that. I also look at things like the Asgard and go, is that going to be able to do 90 cargo as well? And I have to assume it's going to be in the same vein, right? It's going to need that amount of cargo, and then that gives itself more versatility as well.
Look, it depends on how they modify the ship to do that. Like I could see shrinking those crew rooms and just putting seats, instead of having a room, have just a row of seats down the outside, and then turning that space into room for tanks or whatever you put in. But,
well, it's always been a hard pill to swallow though, because we don't have enough ground combat in the game to kind of justify this ship's existence, and so you weren't able to really do anything with it. Right, like unless you're going out as a big group and stuff like that. And now having that cargo, you can at least use it as an alternative while you're waiting for the gameplay to come along. But as more and more gameplay units now come into the game, we're on the verge of possibly getting Titan suits and all this other stuff. As that happens, I think this ship is going to come around and have another time in the sun, so to speak. And I think a lot more people will have a look at it when it comes around. But it has been, gameplay wise, really left to languish for quite a long time, and that's probably its biggest downfall, to be honest with you. It's got some nice things that they've added back in. It's a very well designed ship. It just can't do anything right now because of that ground combat factor. And I don't know if you agree with me on that.
I think that's one of the reasons why, when you look at the how you fight the sandworms. You need to have a vehicle down that's going to attract the sandworm, and then you need to have a ship with a firepower to be able to take it out. And this seems to be a ship they actually built that gameplay around. It can take the drones, it can take the crew, it's got the guns, and so it really does lend itself to trying to give it a purpose in the hunt for those worms. And then when you harvest the stuff from the worms, you put it in your cargo hold. So,
and I think when you look at the Valkyrie and you kind of look at how the Cyclones work and the troops work, if you can kind of transfer that over to the Asgard, you're going to see that that's going to be a really good one as well. And just in a slightly different metric. I think they are, like, by looking at what the Valkyrie is, anyone, if you've got that kind of foresight, you can kind of look at it and go, you already know what the Asgard's going to do and how it's going to function, and go, oh yeah. So if you kind of want the preview, it's right here in this ship.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think one of the things that I could see them moving the engines to the side, to those wings, just to give more ground clearance to the ship as well. So, or more clearance to the sides to get stuff in. But that's yet to be seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much sums up our deep dive of the
the
Valkyrie.
What would you like to see in the comments from people below, Algared?
How close do you think the Paladin will be, and the Asgard will be to the current Valkyrie?
That was going to be my question, you son of a bitch.
Well, that's what happens when you offer me at first.
Well, I'm polite like that. No, he's right. I would like to know your guys' thoughts on it, if you can kind of see the differences between those two. I think the other thing, do you kind of agree with me and Algared on the price? I think that is really its linchpin. But now with the actual cargo added back in, I think it's starting to justify that price a lot more. When I look at something like a Paladin or Redeemer, especially the Redeemer back in the day, I just couldn't justify the ship over the price of a Redeemer because I could do things in the Redeemer.
Oh yeah.
Now,
back in the day, it was chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
You had a Redeemer that could have had bigger guns, smaller profile, and was half the price basically.
Because you get so eager that I love that you answer my question that I put in the comments for other people. It's very cute.
Yeah.
I like it. So you let us know your guys' thoughts on the Valkyrie. Does the Asgard kind of, what do you call it, tempt you at all if you already are a Valkyrie owner? And what are your thoughts on the Paladin as well, I guess? And do you like that they're sharing frames, or does that really kind of annoy you? In a lot of ways, I think it's going to bear a lot of fruit, and what I mean by that is, like, because there's 3 of them, they're probably going to get better upgrades and stuff like that. It just makes it easier for CIG to roll those out. And I think what Algared and I were saying earlier about essentially taking the Valkyrie and turning it into a modular ship will bear a lot of fruit over the course of time. It's easier for them to implement. It's obviously a clearly very well designed ship, and it just makes a lot of sense when you think about it from a speed and development perspective. So, yeah. Right.
Yeah, I suppose the other thing to consider is, where are the components going to go, and will they change the ship at all? Will they have to change the ship to fit those components in? Because there are a whack of them. There's 4 shields, 2 power plants, 2 coolers, and everything's size 2.
Yeah. So I think what you're trying to say in short is it clearly is going to get a pass, and when they're doing the Paladin and the Asgard, probably going to get a pass.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's when they do it. If I wouldn't be surprised if whoever's been working on the Asgard and Paladin hadn't gone through and worked on the Valkyrie as well. Because as we saw, we can see where we think the components are going to go, but there are no doors, so we can't actually open. There's not even a patch to open so you can see the hole.
Yeah.
It's just.
Oh, it's been that long. It's been around for a really long time. As I said, like, if you know what the Liberator is, when was the last time you saw a Liberator of the Valkyrie? Was it the Anvil Valkyrie Liberator is what it's called? When's the last time you saw one? Because most people don't even know it exists. So yeah.
When's the last time you saw a Valkyrie?
No, I see them every once in a while, but yeah, right, not so often anymore. But yeah. All right, with that then, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Thank you to everyone that went the extra mile at Patreon at the end of the video. Right, with that then, he's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.